All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Roundtable, the first Roundtable of the new year, Roundtable number 62. And back with another all star panel. We are here with Maestro A Boxing, and we're also here with El Capitan of HCP D Style Boxing, and the one and only, your king, your leader, Sutter King.
What's
What's going
good?
on? What's going on, everybody?
B.
He's the leader of the, you know, Better
You
Here
Be
we
fan
go.
club.
Yo,
Yeah.
you feeling better? You feeling better, bro?
Yeah,
Yep.
how's everyone feeling, man?
I just want to make sure he's good.
Got
I
him.
know you wasn't feeling well or nothing. I just want to make sure you're good. Did you watch like a marathon of Canelo interviews while you were sick?
Yeah, definitely. Made me feel better.
What about
I feel
Maestro? You
you.
don't care about Maestro? Maestro is
Maestro, how are you, my good friend?
come on, man.
Very
My
well,
dude.
Kane. Thank you.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
got a couple of body bags over here just ready.
Nah,
Doing
All
better
everyone's
than,
good.
doing better than these UFC fighters. That's for
Yeah.
damn sure.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Well,
No,
12
he's doing good. Look at that hat. Look at the happy face on that hat. He's ready to go. Look at
Yeah,
this.
everyone's ready, man. Everyone's ready. Yo, so let's get this started, man. Good news. Seems like Spence-Ugas is almost set for the spring. What do you guys think of that fight? And could Ugas pull up another upset here? Could he pull off another upset here against Spence? Because I think he's very live myself. What do you think, D?
First of all, I actually don't dislike the fight. There's a lot of people angry. I get it. Look, my first option is Spence versus Crawford, right? But should we be shocked that they're going to go with the in-house option first before they have to go for all the marbles? Just like I wasn't shocked when it was Billy Joe first and then Caleb Plant for Canelo, right? I mean, it's just the way it is. They're going to unify. It's a unification, and it's going to get us one step closer to undisputed. So I don't know why anybody is complaining about it. Now, one complaint. If Spence is that dude, then Spence should win the fight. If Spence is not that dude, he will lose to Ugas. And the Ugas Crawford is still a great fight. And I think Ugas Crawford is more plausible to happen anyway, to be honest with you. I think it's more likely that Ugas gets in the ring with Crawford than the other way around with Spence. So I don't dislike the fight. I like the fight. I think Ugas, that really, I mean, he just had a fight with a southpaw, the legend Manny Pacquiao. Wasn't in his prime, but doesn't hurt to fight a southpaw before you fight another southpaw, and we know he's really good with that right hand against the southpaws. It's an interesting fight. We have a fight in our hands, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure who I'm going to pick yet, but I think it's a hell of a, it's a chess match, and it's not a foregone conclusion that Errol Spence wins that fight. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Maestro? Think Ugas is live here?
I think Ugas is very live. Most of Ugas's losses have been disputed losses. There are people who make the argument that he's actually an undefeated fighter. And if you actually look at his losses, you can make a strong case that he won all of those fights. I definitely think he beat Sean Porter. I had him winning that fight. I mean, for years, Ugas was the B-side. Arguably, he still is the B-side and will be the B-side against Errol Spence Jr., even though he's bringing in, obviously, the WBA super title, which he won from Manny in a fight that very few people are going into the fight, at least, picked him to win. Ugas is a very credible guy. His only loss at welterweight was to Sean Porter, the fight that, again, I think he won. This is the battle of my Caribbean brothers. You got Spence Jr., the Jamaican. You got Ugas, the Cuban. And you've got two guys fighting under the PBC umbrella for 3 of the 4 welterweight titles. I don't know about all of you, but I've been over the whole Spence Crawford thing for some time now. That fight is spoiled. It's past due. It's like that salad that you buy thinking you're going to eat a lot of salad that week. And then by the time Saturday or Sunday comes, it's like you open it up and it's starting to wilt and the smell is coming from there and it's, all slimy. I'm not really that into that fight right now. I haven't really been into that fight for a while because it's been about 3 years since I actually thought the fight was going to happen. And I think D-Style made a great point. if you want to see undisputed fight at 147, well, then you should probably be rooting for Yordenis Ugas, because Errol Spence Jr. has not made any moves to indicate that he actually wants to fight Crawford. Ugas would not be going into that fight with claims to being the A-side pay-per-view star, the guy that needs to command a 70-30 split. If Ugas wins those 2 titles from Spence, WBC, IBF, he'll go into that fight with Crawford as a 3-belt guy, probably demanding 50-50. So that's the route. I agree with D-Style to unification at 147. And most of all, I don't think it's a bad fight. It's a fight I'll pay pay-per-view for, guaranteed.
Yeah. What do you think, Sutter Kane, about the matchup?
I think it's a good matchup, man, and stuff. I think it's going to come down to something like a split decision. I don't think, a lot of Spence fans are probably like, oh, he's going to wash him, but I don't think so, man. I think Ugas is on a roll right now. He's got a lot of confidence, and you know me, yo, I'm always for a person that's on momentum. I think he's got a lot of momentum, man, and the whole point, too, we still don't even know how Errol Spence even looks right now. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, that's a real big thing. Like, this dude could look like shit middle round, start looking like crap, and we like, damn, so it did catch up to him. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, we don't know and everything. He looked great against Danny Garcia for coming straight into that fight. You feel what I'm saying? But going into this one, man, I don't know, man. That's a good layoff. Plus, he wasn't, a full 100% for the Danny Garcia fight. I don't know, man. It's a really good fight. I got split decision going, man, for either fighter, man, and stuff. But I wouldn't be shocked if Ugas wins. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, this is an upset. I wouldn't think that at all, man. I would not think that. I think that this is a really good fight. And to Spence's defense, man, I do want to see the Crawford and Spence fight like ASAP. I've been wanting to see that fight, but he's kind of doing everything he said he was going to do. Like, the dude did say that he was going to go down this road and then hit up Crawford last, which kind of makes me kind of like, he shitted on Keith Thurman for a while for kind of doing the same thing, but now he's doing it and stuff. Nobody wants to really talk about that. He's doing the exact same thing. So, and if you notice too, even with the injuries now, like, he got injuries coming up. It's like, man, dude, he's got the Keith Thurman curse now. So who knows, man? But I got a split decision. I don't think it's gonna be a whitewash. And just like Maestro said, I'll pay for this. This is definitely gonna be a good pay-per-view. No matter what the undercard is, I'll definitely pay for this main event. And if Ugas does upset the whole thing, him and Crawford is a really good fucking fight. That's a really good damn fight. I'm actually a little bit more excited about that fight than the Spence fight, to be honest with you. Because history's on the line for Cuba, and I just think he got the momentum, man. And from my knowledge, from what I heard, he beat Crawford in the amateurs like twice, like whitewashed him. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard a couple of times. Like, he whitewashed, like it was nothing. But I know amateurs and pros are 2 different worlds, but momentum is still momentum, no matter which category you're going into or which league you're going. Momentum is momentum. So I think if he pulls this off, Crawford's gonna have a fucking hard time with this guy. This is my take.
Call me crazy, but I think Ugas is gonna win this fight.
I'm with you on that one. I'm leaning towards that too. I am too. I think he's gonna win this fight. I'm leaning towards that.
Spence hasn't looked spectacular. He hasn't looked horrible, but hasn't really looked spectacular in his last couple of fights. Obviously, he beat Mikey Garcia decisively, but it was a very, very uninspiring type performance. The Porter fight really surprised me. I did not expect that fight to be as tough for Spence as it was. And even the Danny Garcia fight, he clearly won the fight, but it was competitive as well. He hasn't really set the world on fire. And the Porter fight was before the retina, obviously, and it was also before the car accident. And the one big thing that stands out to me for Spence is he doesn't have the quickest feet in the world. And I thought that really showed up in the Porter fight. That's why Porter was giving him so many problems, because Porter has very quick feet, and Crawford has very quick feet. Ugas is very cagey and crafty. He's really good at timing. He knows how to nullify people's speed because he's so good with his timing. I actually think Ugas matches up much better against Crawford than Spence does, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I think it would be maybe in terms of the name value and just the hype behind the fight, because Spence and Crawford's been talked about for so long. Obviously, that's the fight that people would rather much more want to see. But I just think that in terms of just competitiveness and it would be a very intriguing fight. It would be a nip and tuck type of fight where I just think it would be much more competitive, Ugas versus Crawford, to be perfectly honest with you. I think Crawford style-wise, I think his foot speed and his versatility and just the way he can counterpunch and stuff, I think he'd give Spence a ton of problems. I think Ugas and Crawford would be a much more intriguing fight in terms of the matchup itself, style-wise. So, I would not hate an Ugas-Crawford fight, and I kind of like that Spence is going to fight Ugas, because the winner of this fight will have 3 belts, and then when the Crawford fight does come about, if it were to come about, it would be for all the marbles. So it couldn't play out any better, in my opinion. Nancy, we were talking about Ugas versus Spence being almost set for March. What do you think of the matchup, and who do you think is going to win? And welcome to the first
thank you.
roundtable.
Thank you so much. Thanks, y'all, for having me. So interesting, right? Because I was thinking, I guess we're kind of settling and getting this fight, right? It's not necessarily the fight we've been wanting, but hopefully, this happening will then tee us up for the fights that we really want out of this weight class. I'm a Spence fan. I really always have been. Here's the deal. I think that there was a point in time when I could maybe confidently speak to both of them and to say, I'm very confidently thinking, Spence will win, or that Ugas is going to come into the ring. I don't know that right now, right? A lot has transpired, I think, for both opponents on this. So it's interesting, right? If you think back, if we were to be talking the same fight 2 years ago, I think we'd be a bit more confident. What do I mean by that? Is that I do think Spence will win, but how confident am I, right? Because we still, he came back, and had that fight after his wreck, but I feel like we still don't really know the full impact of that accident with him. I think that Ugas has grown. We've seen him develop as of late. So that's, I think, going to be in his favor. And I'll go out there and say, I don't think it'll be an easy win for Spence. That I don't know that that's going to be like a popular opinion, but I just don't think it's going to be as easy as perhaps I would have confidently said so a couple years back.
Yeah.
Just really quick. So
Go ahead.
all you got to do is put yourself in the southpaw stance and cover your left eye. Okay. Now, I'm not saying he's blind on the eye. That's not what I'm saying. But he's got that. That's where he had the surgery. And if he gets hit there again, we just don't know what. Like if he injured it in sparring, how's it in a fight stress environment? Getting hit in this section, which is very possible. With in a fight, you have to question how much trouble is he going to have against Ugas when Ugas is stepping to his right, and that could be problematic for him in my opinion, right? And from the orthodox stance, when he shoots that right hand, Ugas has a nice loop to it. And I'm telling you right now, if that eye gets injured during the fight, he's not going to be able to really see. All you got to do, southpaw stance, cover your eye. There's no vision over here. I cannot see this, okay? It could be a problem for Spence. It really can. All right, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
I want the one thing out there too. I really do hope Keith Thurman is the wild card in all this. This is me being a Keith Thurman fan. I really hope he's the wild card in all this. I hope he beats Barrios and somehow, some way.
That's gonna. That's gonna happen. Like,
nah, we can't say he's going to. Me being a Keith Thurman fan, we hope he's going to.
It's tough to say anybody's a Keith Thurman fan because he hasn't been in a meaningful fight in I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to get excited about this dude, man, because
I've been a Thurman fan for years. For a long time.
He's 40% of what he used to be. He's beating Barrios handily. Barrios just got stopped by a guy who just went the distance with Isaac Pitbull Cruz at 135. That's what you really need to know about Barrios going into the fight.
Well, I'm glad you have that much faith in my good friend Keith Thurman.
I just don't have that much faith in
I just hope it goes. I'll put it this way. I hope it goes past that part, and somehow, some way, he beats Crawford. Then we got ourselves a damn fight. Somehow, some way. If he pulls off this, if he somehow this becomes the wild card in all this, oh, I'm gonna talk so much shit. Y'all gonna see a shit talker you have never seen in your life.
We know who's buying the fight, huh? We know who's buying that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, come on, man. I'm a Keith Thurman. I've been a Keith Thurman fan for years. Look how you're a Canelo fan. I'm like a Keith Thurman fan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and stuff. But only thing is, though, I don't go to sleep to Canelo interviews. He goes to sleep to Canelo interviews. I don't. Yeah, I don't.
That's crazy.
He's got a playlist.
Did y'all,
If you say it 3 more times, it'll be funny.
No, I'm being dead real. I know it's okay, man. It's okay. You know, when you say, remember I text you, like you got your Canelo pillow and your blankie. You okay?
Okay.
He gets mad.
No, I was going to ask because I'm sorry if I missed it. But did we talk about the corners? I mean, did we talk about the trainers? You know, so like,
go ahead, bring it up.
Yeah,
so make the point, Nancy. Go ahead.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because I also was taking that into consideration when I was thinking through this fight. You know, who's going to be in the corner, and what they're also bringing into the ring. You know, with their fighter, and that's another reason why I think that, you know, we. And again, remember, I'm going for Spence. I'm a Spence fan, but I know that it can't be easy. And there's something in me that says, you know, he might be able to Ugas might even be able to find a way, man. Like I
think Ugas is going to win the fight, Nancy.
You know what I'm saying?
I just think he's going to win.
Nancy, when you say find a way, you mean stop him? Because I think he's winning the fight.
I think no. So that's a good question. That's a good question, because I'm not saying necessarily. I don't think necessarily stop him.
He may just be that type of bad style matchup for Spence.
Bingo.
That's a bad style matchup for everybody.
Yeah, he is.
Matchup for nobody.
Well,
I mean, he's long. He's got long arms. He's able to kind of tuck those elbows in and protect the body while still protecting his chin. You know what I mean? He throws. He can throw straight punches, but as D-Style says, he can also throw around your guard. He's got a solid jab, and he's got enough power to keep you on edge and respected. So I think he's a tough cookie to crack for everyone, which is why even all of his losses, and it's not like he has a lot, but they're all disputed losses, every last one of them.
Yeah. Ugas, I think he has a good, let's call it that, good working relationship, I think, with his corner, and we all know that matters. Right. So that's why
Ismael Salas, one of the best in the game.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And when you take that into consideration, right, just the growth and development that he's had, you know, just in the past 2 years, knowing who's in his corner, then the Spence situation that we now don't know what we fully have, it can happen, you know. And again, I have to think with my boxing brain, right? Like the heart wants the Spence win, but I'm telling you, it won't be easy. And Ugas he might be able to do it, y'all.
Yeah, I think
it's about activity. As I mentioned, one guy's been active. He just fought a southpaw in Manny Pacquiao, so he's got some, you know, something there. And I still think that eye is a big, you know, big wild card, in my opinion.
It's crazy to me, like, thinking I'm gonna share too much here. I'm about to TMI on the show. So, because y'all know how, like, I got really sick and I had some issues, and actually had a vision issue, and it's with my left eye, and I wasn't supposed to be driving for a while, and Nancy thought she could drive, and so what did I do? I ended up hitting my car on the right side because my vision, it was. So when, you know, D-Star was giving that example earlier, I was like, yeah, that can happen. That can happen. That's me driving a car. So I can just imagine, you know, in the ring with something like that, that's going to be tough. And, you know, Ugas, they're going to go straight for that. They're going to be on that side of his face all night.
They're going to test it.
You know?
So it was talked about a couple of months ago about Canelo possibly moving up to cruiserweight, but it hasn't really been set in stone. He hasn't made up his mind yet. There's also been talk about him possibly unifying the light heavyweight division. I know Bob Arum has said that he's heard that Canelo may consider fighting Joe Smith, being the first guy to try to unify the light heavyweight titles with. He may be the first stop in that quest. But it's kind of ironic now because it's quite possible that could happen because Callum Johnson, who was supposed to be Joe Smith's opponent for January 15th, tested positive for COVID, right?
Wow.
So,
Joe, I was just about to call you this week to ask if you wanted to go cover that fight with me.
Yeah. So, Makabu's got a fight coming up, I think, in January as well.
Yep, in Ohio.
I think Eric's going to that.
Don King Promotions card.
Yeah. So, I think Canelo's going to try and get back out there in May, he said. So, will it be Makabu or will it be Joe Smith Jr.? Because Joe Smith Jr. came out and he threw his name in the hat and he's very vocal about saying, I'd be ready for him in May. I'm ready for him in May if he wants me. And I think that's a great fight. That's an interesting fight. That would be a good fight for Canelo.
Great fight for Canelo.
To start out the quest and trying to unify this light heavyweight division because, you beat Joe Smith and then you got Better Beef, another top ranked fighter. I think he'd have an easy time making these fights at light heavyweight. I don't think any of the champions would give him any static in terms of negotiations. I think he would be able to come to terms with all three of these guys, all four of these guys down here. So, or actually three because Better Beef's got two titles. So I think there'd be a problem with that. So, do you guys think that Joe Smith could be possibly next? What do you think, D-Style?
It's possible, but I do think he's going to go for the cruiserweight just to get the fifth title out of the way. It's a pattern with Canelo. He kind of fights on the weight class above, then he moves back down. And then I think he'll fight Joe Smith later in the year. I think that's pretty much what he'll more likely do. I think he might fight May, September, and then December. I think that's the plan, although in these times, you shouldn't really make plans like that. So I don't know if it's going to go according to plan because of everything going on. Canelo could get COVID. His opponent could get COVID. I mean, a lot of things could happen, right? Not to mention all the other normal circumstances that cancel fights. But I think the plan is Makabu at 200 just to kind of win that extra weight class, come back down, fight Joe Smith, and then I do think he'll try to finish off the year against either do a tune-up or finish off the year with Better Beef, just depending on if the Joe Smith fight was tough or not. You know what I mean? I think that it'll depend on that. If not, he'll get Better Beef next year.
Yeah. So you think Joe Smith will be the first stop at the light heavyweight?
Look, he has a belt. You know what I mean? And just to keep it consistent, just like I said, Ugas, Spence, it's unification. They got belts, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, Canelo's fighting guys with belts. You got to be a world champion, right, in order for him to fight you. So at this point,
gotcha.
So I think that's the direction that he's going.
Gotcha. Boxing says, "Thank you so much for the super chat." He says, "D-Style, what are your thoughts on Jake Paul?"
I think Jake Paul is a celebrity boxer who is not as bad as I thought he was originally, but that's not saying much. You know what I mean? And it's someone who I do really want to see him fight like a real boxer. I don't care if it's a journeyman that's pitching 500, okay, or batting. I'm sorry, 500. I don't care if it's a guy that's 4-10. Okay, let me tell you guys something. You better stop looking at those box records because the toughest fight in Mayweather's career was against a drunken master. Dude with a shitload of losses, right? Yeah. Those journeymen are pretty tough. So I want to see, Jake Paul fight one of those guys.
Gotcha. Nancy, do you think it could be Joe Smith, or do you think Canelo is going to go for that cruiserweight title first?
I think he'll go for the cruiserweight title first. Now that they opened their mouth and said they wanted it and they're going to do it, I just want them to go through with what they're saying, at this rate, really and truly. But I wouldn't be mad at a Smith matchup, to be honest. Yeah. I think that'd be great. Yeah. I like him. What a story, this guy. Like he's a real character. He's a good old blue collar guy. Over the years has just really proven himself. This would be an amazing payday for this guy. I was reading some article where he and his father now opened up a tree service or something like that. So I'm like wanting him to get the payday now, just now that I've learned more about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt D Styles karaoke. Go
No,
ahead.
my bad. I'm sorry.
Go.
No, okay.
You're on. Yeah, I think that it would be good. Here's the deal, though. We do want to see what he's going to look like here in the next week or so, right? Because for those of us that have gotten hit with COVID or know someone that got hit with COVID, it can be brutal and the recovery is long. And so he just got this in September, and he got it really bad. It wasn't just like, the loss of taste or something. I mean, he got it really bad. He was hospitalized. So let's say that maybe October he started to feel okay. I don't know that that's enough time. I don't know how recovering is from the virus is going to, affect him in this next fight. So that'll be interesting to see. But tying it back to your initial question, I do want to see that fight because, they said they were going to do it, so do it. I hate when they come out and they're like, oh, we're looking at this fight, and
don't tease us.
Don't tease us. Eddie's up there going up in front of the commission and being all formal about it. Okay, well then get it done.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I wouldn't mind either one, but I kind of am intrigued by the fifth weight class. I am intrigued by that. I can't deny that. Maestro, what do you think? Think it's going to be the cruiserweight title, or do you think it's going to be Joe Smith?
Well, I mean, I honestly don't know, but I'll tell you what I think is a logical position if I was playing manager, and I was calling for this fight even before he fought Caleb Plant, because I knew he was going to beat Caleb Plant, and I was already thinking about next steps. And to me, the most logical move for Canelo was always Joe Smith. He holds the title that Canelo used to hold, the same WBO title he beat Kovalev for and then dropped. So there's a little bit of history there with that belt. But more importantly, he's the easiest mark at 175. I mean, that's by far. It's a very winnable fight for Canelo. Joe Smith is a very basic boxer. In fact, I thought Blasov beat him in the last fight. Like, I had Blasov winning that fight by at least 2 rounds.
Yeah, it was a close fight.
The commenting team was not at all fair. No surprise there. It is ESPN, and they're the biggest cheerleaders for their home fighters. And as D-Style likes to sing, I don't think 30 seconds of a round can go through without them reminding you about how this dude is a blue collar guy. As if black people and others, I guess, aren't blue collar as well. I mean, it seems like a term exclusively reserved for white people, at least when it comes to ESPN. But I digress. The fact of the matter,
I agree.
The fact of the matter is that he's very beatable. He's got a title, and it's a perfect way for Canelo to get back into the thick of things at 175. And warm himself up in the division before taking on a Bakhtyriev. And then what I think would be the biggest fight for him at 175, if Zurdo is able to beat Bivol, which is no easy task for the WBA strap, but would be Canelo versus Zurdo for all of the belts at 175. I mean, tell me that's not a blockbuster.
That'd be a great fight too, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I think. That's what I would be trying to position myself towards if I was Canelo and Canelo's team.
I think the journey at light heavyweight is going to be a little bit tougher than the journey at 168, and that's going to make it even more intriguing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something, Nancy?
No, I agree with that actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Overall, whatever direction they decide to go, to me, it's just going to be interesting to see the way that both these weight classes shake out.
Yeah.
Really, because these are those decisions that will impact and shake up, in my opinion, the weight classes.
Gotcha. Sutter Kane, I see you shaking your head a little bit there. What do you think?
Bro,
go ahead.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really can give 2 shits about these next 2 fights with Canelo. I just want to see him fight Better Beef, and I want to be on the phone with D Styles when he fights Better Beef, because that's the fight that I feel is going to be the fight. All this other shit is like, it's cool, it's fun, it's good paydays for all of them. And I think that's why I said I think he's gonna go to cruiserweight, give that dude a good payday because he seems like he's a man of his word. So he's gonna fight him, then go fight Joe Smith, which is easy as hell, and then the true fight is gonna be. That's gonna be the fight that I'm truly excited for. But me being a boxing fan, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna watch the other two too. But I'm just gonna make it simple, man. He's gonna watch those dudes, man. It's not even a fight, man. It really isn't. He's gonna watch those dudes, yo. And like I said, I'm glad he's giving that cruiserweight dude a good payday, man. Dude seems like a nice guy, so I'm glad he's giving him a payday. He's gonna fight Joe Smith. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna give him a payday, and that's really it and stuff, yo. And he's gonna fight my boy, Better Beef. You know what I'm saying?
I wanna double up though on D Styles, or the question to D Style about Jake Paul. You know, in terms of him fighting somebody, he actually was supposed to fight Tommy Fury. I kind of tend to think that people seem to forget that when they keep demanding that he fight a boxer. The plan was for him to fight a guy that was 7-0 going into that fight, when he was actually 4-0. So, you know, Tommy Fury got his injuries or whatever. We ended up with the Woodley fight. It is what it is. But I do think that the plan for Jake Paul was to take on Tommy Fury in December. And, you know, Joe, you remember I was saying that I thought he was going to win that fight.
I think Jake Paul would beat Tommy Fury, man. And Tommy Fury
I don't know, guys. He hasn't fought anybody that could box, guys. Come on. You got
the boxer telling me too says the same thing.
You have to stop and acknowledge that he fought an NBA player. Like Askren cannot box. Woodley's not a good boxer.
Fury bought.
Fury hasn't looked that great either.
He fought boxers, bro. Dudes that do it for a living. They know how to box. I would put any of those 7 dudes against Askren, any one of them, and they would beat Askren.
You know, it's funny.
And the NBA guy and the other YouTuber.
Did you see?
Come on.
You can name Ben Askren. Funny enough, you can name Tyron Woodley.
It doesn't matter if you can name. I can name Brad Pitt. It doesn't mean if somebody knocks out Brad Pitt, it doesn't make him a better dude than the dude nobody knows about fighting at the Pavo Real over here, bro. Come on.
I bet you can't name a Tommy Fury opponent to save your damn life.
It doesn't matter if I can name them or not. That's not
Tommy
that's
Fury.
not the point. The point is it's almost impossible to really grade Jake Paul and his skill level. There's a thing called the halo effect. A dude that knows how to is getting some boxing training is going to look a lot better against dudes that don't know how to box. It's common sense.
And then there are guys like Tommy Fury that get hella training, including from the heavyweight champion.
But when you box someone that knows how to fight back, you don't look as good.
But Tommy, Maestro, you remember when Tommy Fury fought the MMA guy in his last fight?
And he beat him. Did he lose a round?
He looked terrible.
He won every round.
He looked terrible.
I think he lost 1 round, 1 or 2 rounds.
That was the chief sparring partner of your dude, and he washed him.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, it doesn't matter how he looked. That's not the point.
He looked bad though, bro. He didn't look good.
Okay, I understand that, but he's a novice. You guys really believe Jake Paul will look good against someone that knows how to fight? You're out of your minds.
But does Tommy Fury? Let me finish my point. Really
I ain't sick this week. Okay, let me finish my point.
Yeah, but
if you look at like Wilder, okay, against Tyson Fury, he looks like he doesn't know how to box. Okay, he looks wild. He's missing this and that. You put Wilder in the ring with Jake Paul, Wilder will look like Sugar Ray Robinson, knock this dude to spark out in less than a minute. It's called the halo effect. Right, he hasn't fought anyone. He fought a basketball player. Come on.
Do you understand? Do you understand?
You can insult your own intelligence. Don't ask me to insult mine too.
Do you understand that you could go down to the Texas Commission right now, pass a physical, and D-style, you can be a professional boxer? Do you know that?
Definitely in Texas.
Do you know that?
Definitely in Texas.
I went to a Peter McNeely fight.
But what's your point, though?
Well, can you let me finish it?
Go ahead.
Okay. I went to a Peter McNeely fight, and there was a guy that fought him with Converse sneakers on, but he had a boxing license. So what I'm trying to tell you is just because someone has a boxing license doesn't mean that's a real skilled boxer. Those guys that Tommy Fury beat aren't much better than the guys Jake Paul beat. That's what I'm trying to say. Just because they have a boxing license doesn't mean
brother.
What amateur careers did they have?
Ardista, hold
How
up.
many Golden Glove
It
championships?
doesn't
did they-
matter because, first of
Of course
all,
it
it's not.
Matter.
Your random
Of course
average
it
Joe
matters.
doesn't just go have boxing matches with Tommy Fury. Okay, that doesn't really happen. Okay, your little anecdotal story don't mean nothing to
Of
me.
course
Okay,
it means
Yo,
everything.
Tommy Fury loses to
It
Jake
means
Paul.
everything.
That is terrible.
What was the
hold up,
combined
Joe,
record?
Give me a
What's
second,
the
Joe.
combined record of the guys Tommy Fury beat?
it don't matter, bro. This dude fought a basketball player, and you guys are like, "Wow, he's so good." He could, I just don't buy it.
No,
Sorry.
I just don't think Tommy Fury's that good.
Don't put words in my mouth.
What makes
I
what
think
makes
both of
Tommy
them niggas
Fury
are trash,
so
to be
good?
honest with you.
Give me a second. What I'm
What
saying
makes
is
Tommy
this.
Fury so good? Just because he's Tyson Fury's brother? Come
Joe,
on.
give me a second.
I think I said that in the last one.
D-Style's saying that anybody could look great against these guys that can't box.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Anyone who has training, okay. If you're gonna quote me correctly. I said anyone who's doing serious boxing training. Go
Right.
ahead, proceed.
yeah, so Anthony Taylor, a guy with a sub-mediocre record in MMA and an 0-1 record in boxing, was Tommy Fury's last opponent. And Tommy Fury went the full 4 rounds with that dude and looked terrible in doing it. By
Did
the
he
way,
lose a round?
done yet. By the way, he also outweighed that dude and had about 5 inches on him and looked
Maestro.
terrible. That dude is no better than any one of Jake's opponents.
Maestro.
No better.
10 and this. Look at the opponents that Tommy Fury fought. 10 and 102.
Did I ever
losses.
say that Tommy Fury had an amazing record?
Oh, and 26.
What is this?
26 losses.
You guys are
26.
you're trying to convince me that Jake
0
Paul's
and
the real
11.
deal, bro. It's
We're
not gonna
not gonna-
happen.
No, all I'm trying to convince you is
Is he the real deal?
Jake, all I'm trying to convince you is Tommy Fury is not the real deal.
Can Jake
either.
Paul fight Yildirim? Can he beat Yildirim?
No.
Okay.
Can
I rest
Tommy
my
Fury?
case.
Can Tommy Fury?
Well, Tommy Fury, okay, it's a
No,
novice
no,
fighter
no.
at this point. I mean,
No.
so it's possible that he could beat him.
No,
right?
no. It's
there you go.
impossible. I would
No,
bet
it's
my
not.
life that he couldn't beat him.
No, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
But
10
I'm
and
talking about a
100,
YouTuber
10
and a
and
boxer.
102, 10 and 102, 0 and 26, 2 and 26, 0 and 11, 0 and 9.
Okay,
2
but
and
let me
0
just say
and 1.
this, and I'm going to let this rest, okay? Let me just say this. This is a nail in the coffin, and then I'll finish bodying you all. Look,
They're
check it
both
out.
not good. They're
Okay.
both not good.
Let's
You
go
just
check
said
it
they're
out.
both not good.
Check this out. I know you got trigger. Just take it. That's what you got to do. Look, listen
They're
to me,
both
okay?
not good. They're
I'm
both
just
trash.
sick and
I do
tired of
agree
hearing
with
the following, okay? I'm sick and tired of people like pulling out Mayweather's first 4 opponents to prove a fucking point, okay? Yeah, Mayweather was fighting like every 2-3 weeks at that point, okay? And he was right out of the amateurs, right? And that was a norm at the time, okay? Like that's just the way they do it, okay? Now, unless you want to make an argument that the guys Mayweather fought were just dudes off the street wearing sneakers, that's another story, okay? But
No.
People are actively trying to legitimize like Jake Paul, like if he's a real boxer.
Yeah, but you
When,
can't legitimize Tommy
regardless of
Fury.
anyone could get a boxing
You're trying to
license.
legitimize
He has
Tommy
not
Fury.
fought. Like I know anybody could get a boxing license because the 4 opponents of Jake Paul got a fucking boxing license and they can box with the shit. So thank you for proving my point. But until he fights someone who is adequate, I said, can he fight a journeyman? I don't care the dude's 5 and 15, but get in there with someone who has experience and who is a pro boxer, who does go around and spar guys and give guys good work in the gym. Go do that, and then we'll proceed.
Not a lot of people fight journeymen in their first 5 fights. Not a lot of people with
I said a 5 and 15 dude.
Tommy
You can't fight a
Fury's-
5 and 15 dude.
I see you itching to make your point. Now it's my turn. Not a
5
lot
and
of
15 dude. No, but you got to represent my point correctly. That's
why.
why.
Okay, why would a guy with 5 fights take on a guy with 20 fights? If you look at the way prospects are matched, they're typically matched against guys that don't.
They don't put them in there with basketball players.
Okay, well, they put them in with guys with 0-1 records, like Tommy Fury's last opponent. The fact is
He's a basketball player.
The fact is
Tell
this:
him-
people
YouTuber.
people want Jake Paul to be matched like he's some Olympian or some AIBA amateur world champion, and he's going to be facing these dudes with these deep records. No guy of his experience going into pro boxing is ever matched with a
So you
journeyman.
can't you cannot have both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't go around saying this dude's legitimate and we should respect him, and then say he's not ready to fight a journeyman. If he's not ready to fight a journeyman, he's a fucking novice, and I don't want to sit.
I'm so shocked we having a
Is
conversation on
Tommy
Jake
Fury
Paul.
legitimate? Is
He is
Tommy
not.
Fury? Is Tommy
Like,
Fury
I'm dead
legitimate?
serious here. Like,
No, wait a
I'm
minute,
so
wait a
shocked
minute,
we
wait.
talking
Because
about
Tommy
this.
Fury hasn't proven shit. No, he's not a
No,
legitimate.
okay,
He's
so-
not
so
We need to
legitimate.
be serious with
so
this.
my
But he's
point
fighting.
is-
At least he's fighting dudes that actually are professional boxers. Whether
doesn't
they
mean
suck or not
anything.
is irrelevant. Okay.
Well,
It
you know
doesn't mean
what?
anything.
You know what? Jake Paul beats the WBO, NABO, cruiserweight cruiserweight champion.
And you don't know that, and you're basing it off of the fucking.
His name
You
is-
just said he's not ready to fight a journeyman.
Yeah,
That's what
but
he just said.
dude ain't even.
What if Jake Paul knocks out Canelo?
No, that's not happening.
Let me ask you this. Can I,
He's gonna be the NABO champion, but
I'm
he's
gonna-
not ready to fight a
I'm gonna
journeyman.
make,
in 5
I'm
and
just
15.
gonna make my last point. I'm gonna make my last point.
Yeah, I can't believe we talked this long on
Would it-
Jake Paul.
This is ridiculous. This is fucking
Yo,
ridiculous.
for real. Like,
He's
I can't
getting
even
what he
talk
wants.
It's just like,
Yeah,
oh, wow. Who did
here's the
Canelo
deal,
fight in his
is that
first 4
he's
fights?
getting what he
Like, give me
wants.
a
Like,
fucking
this is
break,
what
okay?
he wants. He
Sutter,
wants
you gotta
to be the
respect the
topic
fruit.
of
You got-
discussion, and he wants to
This
be
is
able
ridiculous.
to like
You gotta
ruffle the
respect-
feathers.
Hey,
So he's getting what he wants.
Yes.
Look,
I have
the
no
guy-
beef with Jake Paul. I have beef with Beebs and Maestro's infatuation with him. Okay, that's my beef.
Well, would you pick Tommy Fury to beat Jake Paul? Yes or no?
Yes, I would.
He already said that he
All right.
thinks that there's something called.
He might look crappy. Yes, that's true. But Jake Paul just doesn't look that great to me.
All right.
He doesn't.
Listen,
Fury
listen.
doesn't look that good to
So
me.
would you be shocked if Jake Paul beat Tommy?
No,
Fury?
I wouldn't be shocked.
All
No.
right. Is it a competitive fight? Is it like, are these guys basically
Could
on
be.
the same level?
Could be. I don't know.
Is this, would you put these guys on the same level?
I want to see Jake Paul and Canelo. That's it.
I'm saying that there's no way to know, and there's no way to grade Jake Paul, and Fury. Like they
All
both
right.
got to step up, obviously. But
that's what I'm
there's
trying
no way to
that's all-
grade him.
That's all.
It's
I'm
a
saying.
halo effect, dude. Like what
With
do you
both of
think?
them. With both of them, it's a
Let,
halo effect.
let me put it this. You don't think Chocolatito at 118 pounds or 15 pounds would fuck up that basketball player? I
Let me-
do. I think he'll fuck him up in a round.
Let me
Okay,
ask
that's a little ass dude.
But,
right?
but do you know? But you know
I'm
who
just saying.
Callum?
Freestyle,
Wait a
where-
minute, Maestro. Wait a minute, Maestro. Ho, 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 ho. Do you know who Callum? Do you know who Callum Ide is?
No.
He's
Oh
0
my
26.
gosh.
He's 0 26. Is he that much better than the basketball player?
He might be, yeah.
He
You
might
know what?
be.
I would put the dude. I would
might be.
bet on him over a basketball player. That didn't you see him? Didn't
Where
you see
is
how that
Tommy-
dude was fighting
where is
Jake
Tommy-
Paul?
Where is Tommy Fury?
What do
without-
you see how he was like going like this? Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? That's what he fought.
Where is
Okay.
Tommy Fury without
Did you-
Tyson Fury? Where
Did you
is he
see?
at?
Did you see Tommy Fury versus Scott Williams, who was 0 9? Was that? Come on, bro.
I would pick the 09 guy over Askren.
How many
for sure.
Tommy Fury
Don't
fights
even
have you actually?
see him.
Have you ever?
You
How
don't
many
even
Tommy Fury
see
fights
him,
have you
you're
seen?
picking him.
I seen him fight. The guys suck. Okay, it is what it is. But at least they're boxers. Is what I'm saying.
So you're a boxer if you have an 0-9 record because you just got licensed by some county with a fair.
Technically, I'm a boxer. I have an amateur record. I have an amateur record. I would get washed by anybody, man.
You guys are arguing with me
Anyone of
that Nate
significance, I would get
Robinson,
washed.
okay, it's a legitimate win. Just stop. Listen to
Robinson-
yourself.
Okay,
Such a
but
legitimate win is the
but
0-9.
Callum Ide, who was 0 26, is not a legitimate win either. That's all
No,
I'm
man,
saying.
I seen journeyman boxers that were not that good, in, like records that were not that stellar, knock fuckers out at the club before. Okay, I'm just telling you right now, you guys are going out of your way to legitimize a Nate Robinson win. Okay, give me your fucking boxing cards.
You're
now.
going out of your way to
Let's go ahead. I'm not
riding-
no
you're
because
riding on
I
the
acknowledge.
coattails.
I'm clearly acknowledging that the boxers he's fighting are not that good. Right, but you guys are going an extra mile for Nate
we're
Robinson,
not.
then ask
No, we're
him
not.
for God's
I
sake.
think Tommy Fury
This is crazy.
I think Tommy Fury would lose to Jake Paul. That's just my opinion.
Mine as well. And
Okay,
all
what
I'm
look,
saying,
at the end of the day, he would be 4-0 against the same dudes that this dude just fought too. So it is what it is.
and I would be 7-0 against the
You know
dude.
Tommy Fury?
We don't-
You
we
know
don't know
Tommy
that, do we?
Fury has no amateur fights. He has no amateur fights.
That's
Zero.
what I'm saying. Who is
He has-
he without
he
his
has
own?
seven-
Okay,
he has
which
seven-
explains
Yo,
why
we
he
has
debating this
seven-
like a
doesn't it?
Spence and Crawford
He
type
has
shit.
7 setup fights, just like Jake Paul has.
I love
six
it.
setup fights.
I love this. I got 2 body bags on my record tonight. Now let's move on.
two body bags that are still kicking.
Oh, Nate Robinson, he's better than those 0-7 guys. Get out of here, okay? Stop.
Oh, I said that win.
Calamine 0-26.
I would pick him over Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson didn't know how to fight, dude.
Calamine got knocked
He
out
was
by the video.
flinching when they this to him. Like, get the fuck out of here, okay?
So Nate Robinson's 0-0 record is somehow worse than a guy that was 0-1.
Listen,
0-1 in his last fight.
Tommy
Fury.
Tommy Fury throws a left.
Explain it. Hold up. He's got to explain that math to me.
I'm just saying.
To me,
Haddon's son can be 0-4 against those dudes he fought. Okay.
Nate Robinson is 0-0. Anthony Taylor is 0-1. But according to D Styles arithmetic,
and Rocky had 30 losses, bro. It's all good.
0-1 is a better record than 0-0. I don't understand.
Look. I'm not the one capping for a fucking YouTuber who hasn't fought anybody. Okay, like you guys can keep going.
But you're capping for reality.
I'm not capping for Fury.
You're capping for a British reality TV star. A British reality TV star that's right into the coattails.
I'm just saying he's going the process.
You're doing the same thing for Fury.
There's a process. You just said he didn't have an amateur career. I'm not here saying that he's going to be shit. I never said that. All I'm saying is I do think he can beat. I do believe he can beat Jake Paul because I don't think Jake Paul's that good.
I have a question. Okay, the four of you, you're at a bar.
Yeah.
Okay, it goes down.
Ouch.
Bar fight.
Yeah.
Who do you want?
Big
Which
John
of the two
Fury.
do you want?
He's gonna
Big John Fury. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Big John Fury.
I probably would take Jake Paul for the bar fight part. For the bar fight part, I probably would take Jake Paul. He'd probably be high as hell. And
JC says, salute to all the boxing heads. D-Star, I'm sorry we got you angry today, man. We didn't mean to do that.
That's all good, man. This is energy right now. No anger. I just need to scold you
I know you're just coming off.
You're capping for Jake Paul.
I know you're just coming off of being sick, man. I'm sorry.
Like you guys are capping for Jake Paul. This is unbelievable. I can't believe this. Like, oh no, the Nate Robinson win. That was
all we're doing is taking the lesser of two evils, baby. Taking the lesser of two evils.
Ben Askren is literally the worst striker in any combat sport I've ever seen.
I got you.
Ever.
But what about Calamide, man? He lost 26 times in a row, bro.
He would beat Ben Askren.
You never saw him fight.
All those dudes would have a win if they fought like the opponent's son, Jake Paul. Okay,
who wins?
If those dudes fought Robinson and Ben Askren, they would all have 2 wins in their record.
All right,
every single one of them.
All right, I can't wait. I'd love to see this fight happen.
Beeb, you can knock out Ben Askren. I believe in you.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't even knock out any. I couldn't even knock out a 10th grader right now. All right, boxing says D-Style. Would you give Paul credit if he beats?
Yo, I'm making big money today. Look at this. But look, I'm gonna say this quick because I understand we gotta move on. But
wait a minute.
And we got Tommy.
Why does everyone want to see Beeb?
I would not give him any credit. I would say, you know what I would say? That's what I would say.
In every joint in his body.
Let me tell you what I would say. Okay, I would say this. They put Jake Paul in there with an old, crusty old man who hasn't seen his best days 30 years ago. That's what I would say. I'll explain, brother. You're still good.
What that guy that gave me the super chat started? All right. Let's move on to the heavyweights now. Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin last Saturday. It was a pretty exciting fight. I
had a good time. Great
card. The card was okay. It wasn't the greatest.
The first fight was good.
Yeah, but the main event was pretty good. It exceeded my expectations. Luis Ortiz is saying he's the boogeyman, the self-proclaimed boogeyman,
he's not.
Which I disagree with, and I know a lot of other people.
Emphasis on self-proclaimed.
Correct. Did he look good against Charles Martin?
No.
And think about this. This was an IBF eliminator. Charles Martin was ranked number 1 by the IBF. So Luis Ortiz could be ranked number 1 by the IBF. Is he still a player at heavyweight, man? Nancy, let's start with you.
Full disclosure, I didn't watch the whole fight. I did go back and watch, the kind of the highlights, and that's rough. I read he got injured, right? And he's recovering from said injury. How is he still here? I mean, it's impressive that he got through the fight, honestly. Did expect him to walk out with some type of injury, though. I mean, I personally think like he should hang it up. Like that's just my opinion, you know. That's just it. Honestly, like when I heard he was fighting, I'm like, what? Really? Yeah.
Yeah, the window.
I mean, that's honestly like I don't know that I can say more on the guy. Like I just feel like he's done. He would very possibly get very hurt, I think, you know, in another fight after this. That's just my thought.
The whole thing is sad.
Go ahead,
be
Maestro.
honest.
Go ahead, Maestro.
I mean, you know, the whole story
That's a good word, sad.
that they always remind us of is that he got into professional boxing to help his daughter, who apparently is still dealing with the medical issues that she was dealing with as a very young child. She looks like she's a teenager now. You know, camera 1 on daughter, you know, camera 5 back to the ring, camera 1 on daughter. Now she's tearing up.
Yep.
You know, then after the fight, she's still crying. His youngest kids are there like kind of aloof while she's there bawling her eyes out. And you almost wonder if she's saying to herself in her mind, wow, my dad's only doing this and taking these beatings and getting knocked out or knocked down multiple times due to jabs because of me, you know, because I don't know why else she's crying like that so much. It was quite sad. I mean, it's a guy who's clearly past it in terms of prime age of being an elite athlete. It's a guy who, as you said, Joe, earned a mandatory eliminator shot against Hrgović, but apparently now doesn't want it. I mean, this is the first boogeyman I've ever heard of that goes running from a fight. I mean, what kind of a boogeyman is this? You know, boogeyman that I remember being a little kid, and the boogeyman story was like the boogeyman's in the closet when you're sleeping, boogeyman's under the bed. Well, apparently the boogeyman's like in his basement with a cast on, not wanting to fight you. I've never heard of that version of the boogeyman before, but I guess everything changes, right? It is 2021. We're redefining what a vaccine is and what a vaccine hesitant person is. I guess now we're redefining what it is to be a boogeyman. You know, apparently a boogeyman now is a 42-year-old, far past it, overweight, heavyweight who doesn't want an eliminating a mandatory title shot. I think it's time that we start a GoFundMe for Luis. You know, we got to get together as the YTBC, start petitioning for him to get one of these Spanish language commentating gigs, because he is pretty articulate. You know, he's spot on when he kind of talks about what's going on in the ring and everything. But I think it's a bit past it right now for his ability to get a heavyweight title shot. Because if you're not going to fight Hrgović, who else are you fighting for a shot at the heavyweight championship? Yeah. I don't really get it. Unless he's trying to go after Trevor Martin in the WBA regular, sorry, not Martin, Trevor Bryan in the WBA regular title. Yeah. Which seems to be contested by King, also in Hollywood, Florida. So not too sure, but those are my thoughts.
You know what? It's like he was the boogeyman, like we say in Spanish, en su tiempo cuando lucía. You know, in his day, back in his day, perhaps. But
I thought you were going to say
El
Cucuy.
You know what the big...
Well,
I'm going to make this quick, but the big thing was the Brian Jennings fight, because Brian Jennings went the full 12 with Vladimir Klitschko, and he knocked out Brian Jennings. So because of that, everyone just jumped on that whole boogeyman thing. I'm not saying he's not a good fighter, but I don't think people are avoiding him. I just don't think so. Sutter King, what do you think of Luis Ortiz? I'm not sure if you saw the fight, but what do you think of him now as a player in the heavyweight division? Because he's going to be a mandatory at some point for somebody, it seems.
I'll put it this way, yo. I did see the fight, and that knockout was really fucking good. When you hit the dude, when you hit Martin, and he's looked to the crowd like, what the fuck? That was actually pretty dope. I was like, oh shit, like, yeah, that was really good. But I play it like this, man. I've been an Ortiz fan for a while. I think he got 2 more fights in him. See, I don't look at it the same way y'all do, man. I look at it as he looking at 2 more paydays. You feel what I'm saying? And I think he has enough in the tank for 2 more paydays. Who he fights, I don't know. But see, I don't look at it the same way. I look at it as it's a business. So
he doesn't want, he's like, okay, paydays. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he wants 2 more paydays. I think the sport's out of him, bro. I think it's more of a sense of a business.
Going to give him that payday, because at this point, if you're the type of guy who could give him a payday, you're going to get derided for taking him on as an opponent. So we're talking about.
That's a good question, man. I don't know. That's a really good question. I mean,
They'll get laughed out of town if they pick him as an optional title defense.
You know what I would like to see though? To be honest with you, yo, and this could be a far fetch. I would like to see him and Usyk. That's actually a really good damn fight.
Usyk would get laughed out of town by taking on Ortiz.
I don't think so, man. But see, like I said, once again, man, I don't look at
Who
it
was
the
that,
same way you
King?
do, man.
Who was that? Did you just say?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear who you said.
Usyk. Can y'all hear me? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me good now? Okay, yeah.
No,
so I said Usyk.
you.
Yeah, I say him and Usyk would be a good fight. And like I said before, he's looking at it as more of a payday. He's like, okay, I got two more left in me, and then probably one little journeyman type fight, and then that's it, man. You feel he hangs it up. Yeah. I think he definitely has enough in the tank for that. And I would like to see him and Usyk. Like, I really would like to see that fight. And I've always thought Ortiz was good, man, and stuff. I always thought he was good since I first saw him. I thought he was really good. And we really don't even know his true age, to be honest with you. I mean, he's saying 42, but we really don't know. You feel what I'm saying? But I think he got two more fights in him, hands down, and rock it like that. So, yeah.
You bring up, I mean, it's so I'm glad you're saying it because
I bring up logical points.
I was thinking it, but it's not to take away from his career and his ability and his skill. Like, it's not to take away from that, you know. But it's just, you know, you have the boxers that age well and can just, you know, hang it up, and I think he's past that. And if he's doing it just for the payday, you know, that's when you see the tragedies and.
Yeah,
no, I agree.
The bad hits, you know, the rabbit punch and that's the only reason why I'm like kind of sad about it, because I do like the guy. I'm not going to say like I'm this big fan, but I think he's a good fighter and I like the guy, and I'd hate for him to do that one more, and you know he's out completely.
Nah, I'll put it to you like this, yo. He's got enough skills in the tank to fight two more fights, or at least one. And so if I ain't gonna sit hands down a guy like that, like as soon as he go in there, he gonna get sparked out. And so I think he's got like enough skills for at least one more fight, at least one.
Here's my thing.
You went from 2 to 1.
I'm just saying, I'm just being realistic. Yeah. I would say 3.
Real quick, Maestro, because you want to let D get in.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, if you look at the Usyk option, right? Usyk is a southpaw. After the fight, he's admitting that he struggles.
Southpaws are hard. Yeah, I see that.
Right, and he was struggling against a slow southpaw who dropped him, by the way, with jabs. I mean, people are calling for Derek Chisora to retire. Derek Chisora would wash Luis Ortiz now.
That'd be a good fight, man.
He would wash Luis.
That'd be a good one, right?
That's
there,
the kind of guy that he needs to go. That's the kind of guy he needs to go for.
Yeah.
A guy who needs a name but is also a name.
Let D
I just hope somebody gives the man.
Are you guys gonna leave me any points? Or you're gonna keep
let D get in.
How about
bro, you just finished talking about Jake Paul for the whole time. We just talking about this.
He spent all his time singing.
So check this out.
Let D get in.
Let's check this out, okay? First of all, get that out of the way, because I don't want to see Jake Paul on the screen anymore, babe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to get that out of the way.
Real talk. What would you do if Jake Paul knocked out Canelo, man?
I said that earlier. Y'all gotta give me credit. I said that shit earlier.
I felt uncomfortable even reading. I felt uncomfortable even reading that.
Yeah, I wake up from a dream.
Wake up from a dream. That's what I would do.
Yeah, but check it out, man. I want to go from this. First of all, the knockout was hilarious because Maestro said like he's slow. Like, people say Joe Joyce is slow. Yo, like, why don't people talk about Martin being slow? Because he's slower. Like, he even goes down slow. Okay, like he was getting beat down and he went down slow. Like, and then like Ortiz like did like a house arrest or something with his like dad boxers and like handcuffed him to the corner of the ring. Like, I like he beat him up like he stole some. But like, look, here's what I'll say. Like, I never seen a guy like get knocked out on his feet, then woken back up with a punch, and knocked out on his feet, then woken back up with a punch. He must have knocked him out like 4 or 5 times before he went down.
Yeah,
okay. And then he just laid there and he was like pondering life. Did you see how he was just pondering life, like in the corner?
Yeah,
like,
complaining.
Yeah, like I never seen that before. But with that said, yo, Wilder fans, calm down, okay? You should have seen the Wilder fans were celebrating like if something amazing happened, okay? Now get this, okay? Because this is what they were saying, all right? They were like, see, that's why nobody wants to fight Ortiz. He just knocked out a former world champion. Yeah, that's the best fighter Wilder ever fought. Wilder's the only guy that could beat Ortiz. Like, why? Because he beat Martin. You know why else beat Martin? Okay? Okay, Kawanaki beat fucking Martin. Okay, give me a fucking break. Okay, like Anthony Joshua washed Martin. Like he made him look like one of like Tommy Fury's opponents. Okay, that's what he did. All right. So at the end of the day, stop celebrating. No, this dude is not a boogeyman. He won't even fight the dude whose name rhymes with hurt the bitch. Okay, he won't even fight him. That's what I'm saying. That's all I have.
Dave, welcome. How you feeling, brother?
I'm doing a lot better, guys. Thank you.
Good. So, what did you think of Luis Ortiz this past Saturday? And is he still a player at heavyweight?
No, he's not. Excuse me. I thought I would sound a lot better than this. No, he's still not a player. He's not. And Martin's absolutely even more so. He's not like on the, he's not quite Chisora that we just saw recently, right? But he's kind of going into that dangerous gatekeeper territory. But I do agree with Sutter Kane. I think he's still got a couple of good paydays at PBC. Like, and he's there, in their roster. And I could see some big fights like with, of course, people might not want to see it, but the
here we go.
What? God, I can't even think of his name. Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz. I
forgot about Andy Ruiz. That's a good fight. I totally forgot about Andy Ruiz. That would be a good fight.
Because to be honest, Andy Ruiz didn't look that spectacular against Chris Arreola coming back. So I'd like to see him take on some of these guys that Deontay Wilder has taken on and beaten.
I do agree with you with that.
Yeah, I do. I would like to see that. So he's not toast yet, and he's definitely still on the roster. He's got a couple of good paydays. And you brought up that good point that people really don't know his age on that birth certificate because he is a refugee.
Logic.
He could be 45, he could be 46, and I can't fault the guy for going for a couple of more big paydays.
I'm not.
Why would you not?
I'm not faulting him, but are we really acting like that's a legit opponent for Andy Ruiz? A 42-year-old that just got knocked down from jabs.
But then Andrew Ruiz just get knocked down by goddamn what's the dude? Man. Arreola. Like, come on, man. A slow one punch.
Let's not disrespect Chris Arreola.
We're gonna tell you guys because you're talking over each other.
Arreola, who was crying after the Klitschko fight. That Arreola.
Did you see what he went through in the Klitschko fight?
Hell yeah, he got the shit beat out of him.
Okay, so I mean,
I've never seen getting the shit beat out of you and crying. It's kind of a bitch move.
Right. Come on, man.
I'd like to see what would happen. Let me give you a preview of what would happen to you.
Men can cry too, man.
Let me tell you something, yo. Let me give you a preview of what the trigger finger would do.
Men can cry.
That's got nothing to do with it.
I'm just saying.
That right there sound like a bitch to me.
Sutter,
let me ask you this.
Sutter,
nigga, you's a bitch.
You're the bitch.
How about this? How about me and you meet up in Queens and I'll fuck you up?
I'm bringing up fight and you bringing up guns. Who the fucking bitch?
Bro, how about me and you meet up in Queens and I'll fuck you up?
Calm down.
All right.
You in Queens, right?
No, I'm not in Queens.
Let's not.
How about you meet me in Queens, nigga? I bet you won't make it back.
I bet you I probably wouldn't.
Nigga, please look at you stuttering, little bitch.
Bitch, and if you act like a bitch and take out a gun.
All right, come on,
nigga, I'll fuck you up.
Come on, that's what
you and
yo, hey,
stuttering, nigga.
We don't do this on the round table, okay? So Sutter can't cut it out. That's number one. All right.
I'm not
and everybody calm down. All right, that's it.
All right, enough. We ain't got to take it there. All right. So Tyson Fury says he's got some big news coming out soon, and he's kind of hinting at it could be in Saudi Arabia. So who do you guys think Tyson Fury is going to fight next? They're talking about Robert Elenius. Andy Ruiz's name's been mentioned. But also there's a rumor that Saudi wants to stage the next fight, and they're willing to put up some big money for it. He's hinted around at that. Who do you think that Tyson Fury is going to fight next? Who's going to be the next guy? D.
All right. So what's up, B? We're going to meet up and fight or what?
Nah, man.
No, but let me say this, okay? I don't know what the fuck Tyson Fury is going to do. He's just tweeting about fighting Ngannou this morning. That he wants to box him with MMA gloves. Like
yeah.
Look, first, let me touch on this, okay? This misconception that MMA gloves are smaller, therefore has more impact, or whatever. I don't know what that's about. Boxing gloves are designed for optimal impact, okay, without breaking your hand. So they're not going to be hitting each other as hard as often because you'll end up breaking your hands at some point. Plus, having fingers exposed makes no sense in a fucking boxing fight because you're going to be fucking poking your eyes or what? Like, this is crazy. Okay. But with that said, I do think the Dillian White fight's going to happen. Like I have a feeling he's calling out Ngannou to kind of show Dillian White that he has other options or something, I guess. You know what I mean? But I think that's what he's doing. And I think they're going to end up settling. Dillian White might get 25%, 30% or something like that. This is what I think.
Yeah.
But I have no clue, though. I can't read Fury.
Sutter, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think there's going to be a big event in Saudi? And who do you think is going to be the guy for Fury?
Good question, man. To be honest with you, yo, I really just want to see the Tyson Fury and Usyk so we can get undisputed. Who he's fighting in Saudi, I have no freaking clue who he's going to fight and stuff, yo. It's going to probably just be a tune-up fight. I mean, what you think?
We'll go around and I'll give my opinion last, but I have a feeling it's going to be Dillian White. I think that, like D-Style said, I think Saudi is going to put up enough money where the percentages aren't really going to matter that much. I think they will kind of settle in at maybe 25 to 30%. Yeah.
I just can't wait till we get to the Floyd Mayweather Saudi thing. That's going to be funny.
Oh, God. Well, I think that's Dubai, actually.
Oh, it's going to be in Dubai?
Yeah. We'll get one. That's going to be funny. Yeah.
That's going to be a good one. That's the one I'm hyped on.
Yeah. So, Dave, what do you think is going to happen here with Tyson Fury, this unpredictable heavyweight champion that we have here?
I'm actually, unlike my co-host Drew, who I was tweeting today about that Francis Ngannou thing, I actually think that would be, if it's going to be a circus fight like that, it would take some really big money to persuade Dana White to let him do that, right?
Yeah.
If Dana White wants to get his cut. So it makes perfect sense to involve Saudi investors in this fight. So, and it's kind of a circus freak show, a crossover event, a huge international event. I have no interest in seeing him fight lower tier opponents like Dillian White. I really want to see him fight Usyk. But again, I wouldn't mind seeing this kind of a freak show fight for this one fight. I wouldn't mind seeing Francis Ngannou. I think that would be some kind of spectacular circus show. And he's into it. I mean, he's trying to gauge the interest in it online. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, I'm a little surprised, Dave. You normally don't like fights like that, but
you know what? I'm ready to see an elite top tier MMA guy.
I got you.
Get knocked out. I'm ready for it. You know, like once and for all. Like the fact that if Francis has no chance against Tyson Fury, then maybe for once Jake will stop getting the credit he gets for knocking out MMA artists.
Yeah. Nancy, what do you think is next? Do you think there's going to be a big event in Saudi for Tyson Fury? And could it be Dillian White?
This is all I'm going to say because I'm going to admit I was wrong. Because you remember one of the last shows, I'm like, he's going to hang it up. He's going to retire.
I said it too.
I said it was a possibility. He wants to go to Costco and, you know, Bed Bath & Beyond after and maybe a Home Depot trip. Like he's ready for that life. Like I seriously thought that's where we were headed. Like seeing what transpired just this last fight, like ahead of it, seeing what he was doing after the fight, I'm like, bro, he's done, right? So when I saw that, I was like, all right, my bad, I was wrong. So I was wrong. I seriously thought he was done, but here he is talking about still fighting, talking about he's in the gym. You know, this Saudi fight, of course, you know, that's where the money is. It's interesting that we've been talking now in this past week about fighting in Saudi Arabia and fighting in Dubai, right? I find that interesting. So sounds like that's what we're going to see more of. And I'm curious, besides the money, what's suddenly triggering this interest to fight there? That's what I'm interested in. Because it's kind of coincidental, perhaps, that both of these within the last 2 weeks, these both locations are coming up. So anyway, that's all I got to say is my bad. I was wrong. He's not retiring.
Well, we don't know yet.
We still don't know yet. This is a guy on the turn of a dime. He could do anything.
I don't know. I think, if it just, I have a feeling that if he's being that specific, I think we are going to see something come through, so we'll see.
Maestro, what do you think is next in Saudi, if it's possible?
I mean, I
Tyson
think I don't
Fury.
like it when fat middle-aged men call pro fighters bitches, number one. And also, I think I don't like it when we're talking boxing and somebody decides to bring up gun talk. Especially,
Wait, you talking about me again, nigga?
especially,
I
yeah.
just caught that. Nigga,
All right,
fuck
right,
you
right.
one more
Who
time.
else- who else on
Maestro,
we gotta-
Maestro, you's a bitch, bro. I
we
can
gotta
smell
stop.
the bitch in you.
Who has ever
No,
brought
I'm
up
getting
guns
tired of this
other than you?
motherfucker.
Who
Maestro, I
else
will
on this
fuck
planet
you
has ever
up.
brought up guns other than you?
You know what? Okay, Maestro, keep talking. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Nigga,
my-
you's a
it's my
bitch, nigga.
time.
Look at you stuttering.
It's my
Look at you, you
time.
nervous, nigga.
If I want to talk,
You nervous, nigga.
who's nervous?
You bitch.
Who's nervous?
You motherfucker, you Maestro. The nigga sitting
All
right
right,
in front of me,
all
right
right, we
there.
gotta-
You nigga.
I'm bringing up guns,
But-
but,
but
Nigga,
let me-
bitch, you's a bitch.
All right, let's stop, man.
God
Because
damn, I
wait
thought
a
he was
minute.
over, but
All
the
right,
bitch came out of him again.
All right, we got to let it go because we're on camera. Can't do nothing about this now, man. Let's for the sake of the show, let's just put this behind y'all.
I
That's it.
agree.
I'm
That's
not.
it.
I'm not invite. I'm not the one
All
who
right.
invited this
All
clown.
right, but we're
Nigga,
gonna go around
oh
in
my
circles.
God.
The show's gonna.
Who brought up
All
guns?
right, we gotta
Was it me or
stop.
was it him?
It's over. It's over, Maestro. It's
Maestro.
over, Maestro. Maestro, it's over. It's over.
Well, right now it's Maestro's turn, so he gets to speak uninterrupted. Those are the
Adisa,
rules. So go
you
ahead.
could go. I'm done.
I'm doing
He's done with it. All right. So, speaking
Well,
of the
I
Floyd-
want to know what do you think about Fury. So
well, I mean, if he doesn't want to say it, he doesn't want to say it. I can't force him. So I know you talked about this on your show a couple of days ago, D-Style, you, Nancy, and Calix, with Floyd Mayweather announcing the big event in Dubai, February 20th, against this influencer over there in Dubai. I guess what's this guy's name? Money something over there. I forget his name. Money
Who
Tracks.
knows?
But here's the thing, because I catch a lot of flack. All right, because people are saying, well, people, why do you care? Why do you care? And the thing is this, I just find it peculiar. I'm the
Yeah.
type of person, if you're telling me something, if something's being said to me and something's being portrayed to me, right? And it doesn't look the way it seems, or it just doesn't add up, then I'm the type of guy that's going to come out and question it. So if I see something that's not right, I'm going to point it out. So I'm seeing this guy, Floyd Mayweather, always when he's being interviewed, always on social media, everything is, I got so much money, I got this, I got that. And then he's promoting Tank, and he's at a press conference, and he's asked a question, what do you think about Tank? Well, I got a lot of smart investments. I made a lot of smart investments.
Mhm.
And going back to what I said before, if you have to keep saying something over and over again, and you bring it up even when it's not part of the topic, then it seems to me like you're trying to go out of your way to convince somebody of something. Now, then people, you're just jealous. Jay-Z's is worth $1.4 billion. I never criticized Jay-Z. You know why? Because Jay-Z's securing his own skin. He doesn't have to brag about it. Jay-Z legitimately does have smart investments, right? You don't see guys like Jay-Z. You don't see guys like Dr. Dre, P. Diddy. These are people who are in the entertainment business who have much more money than Floyd Mayweather. But once again, they're closing in on 50, just like Floyd Mayweather is turning that corner. He's in his mid-40s, closing in on 50. When you get to a certain age, you don't act that way anymore. There's no need to floss anymore. So all I'm doing is calling him out on being disingenuous. The Conor McGregor fight back in 2017, they garnished his whole purse, the IRS, because he owed the money, right? And even then, they were saying that the debt from 2010, he was still paying that debt off from installments. So my thing is this: if you're sitting there telling everyone how rich you are, and you're talking about Manny Pacquiao fighting Ugas because he needs the money, and you're making fun of other people saying they need the money, they're broke. You wouldn't be fighting these exhibitions if you didn't have to. That's just my opinion. You just wouldn't be doing this. This reminds me of when Joe Louis had his tax troubles, and he started wrestling. He started being like referees at wrestling matches. He started being the greeter at Las Vegas. So
The greeter.
yeah, he was a greeter at Las Vegas at casino hotels.
Oh
So
gosh.
So
Yeah.
I just find it peculiar how he's trying to put this image out there, but there just seems to be something going on behind the scenes. I'm hearing a lot of things, especially with this tax stuff, especially like him not paying contractors and stiffing people for money, and a lot of fighters complaining they don't get paid and this and that. So I don't know. I just think that there's something going on behind the scenes. I think he has probably a lot of assets, but I don't think he has a lot of liquidity. I just think he doesn't have a lot of liquidity. I think all his money's tied up. I think he's paying off a lot of debts, and I think he's still paying off the IRS, in my opinion. What do you guys think? We'll start with you, Dave. What's your thought on this whole thing? And would Michael Jordan play Drake in a celebrity one-on-one on pay-per-view? Would he have to do something like that to make money, or could he just make money off his Nike deal?
I think you hit the nail right in the head. Excuse my voice, guys. Yeah, there's definitely got to be some money problems there, right? Sometimes you see like emerging musical artists, they'll score their first big like top 100 Billboard hit, and they're literally doing private parties for millionaires and billionaires. You know, you'll hear about like Maroon 5 doing a private event at someone's wedding for the right price. Like this isn't uncommon in the music industry. So he must have an insane, like you said, financial trouble. He's got to be in financial distress to the point where just carrying on his lifestyle requires X amount of money to keep coming in. There's no other way I can see justifying destroying your legacy because, he's a generational fighter. He'll definitely be one of our generation's greatest fighters. And now he's just like tarnishing it, doing ridiculous shit, like getting his hat knocked off by Jake Paul and fighting his brother. And now doing this helicopter, helipad Dubai fight. It just keeps getting worse and more ludicrous, man. So I kind of feel bad for Floyd a little bit about that because it is a stain on his legacy. I mean, I don't want to be remembered like that. And if you talk to young people in their 20s, they don't hold them in the same regard like some of us older boxing fans. Like they don't see the appeal anymore. They saw what Jake Paul did to him. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. He just a lot of this stuff looks like it's just a bad look. Define broke, Georgie. If you own a lot of things and all your money is tied up in your assets, but you don't have no liquidity, and if you can't pay your taxes because you don't have any liquid assets, then you have money. You have a liquidity issue. There's guys that have a lot. There's rich people that have a lot of assets, but they're not liquid. Donald Trump's not liquid. He's not really liquid. That's why he had to file bankruptcy a couple of times because he's not liquid. So just because you own a lot of things, you have to pay to maintain the things you own. And if you can't sell the things you own, or if you do sell the things you own and you take a loss, if you're buying all these cars that depreciate, you're buying all this jewelry that's depreciate, again, it's a money issue. We can go back and forth. I know people, they just can't fathom the fact that Mayweather, they need to believe that Mayweather is this guy that has he's like Daddy Warbucks, but I just don't see it. All right, Sutter, go ahead, brother. What's your thoughts on this whole thing? Am I off base here?
I don't think Floyd is broke, yo. I think Floyd is bored. And I think he's the type of dude who has like a compulsion where he just wants more and more. Like nothing is never enough for him. Like he just wants more and more and more and more. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like he's so used to being in the limelight that he don't know how to get out of the limelight. I mean, the dude's been doing it forever. He comes from a boxing family, so this is all he knows. Like he doesn't know how to transition out of boxing into the real world. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the thing I got, but I don't think he's broke, man. I think the dude is just really bored. And like I said, man, he's Money Mayweather, so he's living up to his name. The dude wants to grab money any which way possible. I mean, have you seen his ads of what he's doing? Like his promo ads for like these weird companies and stuff, yo. So that already shows me like the dude is just, he's just Floyd. Floyd's always been like this. We just seeing it more now because he's not boxing. But now he's doing these exhibitions, which has actually started a trend for everybody else doing exhibitions now. You feel what I'm saying? So he's still like a trend setter, I would say. You feel what I mean?
Yeah. D, what do you think of this, man? I know you already talked about it, but let me just get this super chat real quick. The Axiom says, great show. Happy New Year's. Thank you so much. I know you talked about it earlier, but am I off base here? Could he have some liquidity issues, you think? If he's still paying off a tax debt?
I mean, here's the problem. A tax, you get interest with tax, that it could add up. It could get out of hand immediately. Okay, we're talking about percentages here, regardless of the amount you have, right? And I don't know if Floyd has positioned himself necessarily to handle this long term. Look, I mean, he shows off a lot of the stuff he has, but a lot of the stuff he has, as you mentioned, depreciates in value now. Do I care if he's broke or not? No, right? But I'm answering the question, because the reason I'm saying this is because, you know, we're going to get Floyd fans. They're going to say, oh, you know, what do you care how much money he's got and this and that? And here's why we're talking about it. The only reason we're talking about any of this is because Floyd Mayweather is promoting now a fight in Dubai on a helipad, right? And it's making us wonder, like, why is he doing this, right? It doesn't do anything. Of course, it's random, right? But he's bragging about the money he's making. He's bragging about how he's going to steal or rob the bank, and like Floyd makes it about this. If Floyd would have just said, "Oh, we're going to do this in a helipad, it's going to be for charity," like nobody would really be talking about whether the dude's broke or not. You know what I mean? And why does it matter? Because let's say he is having money problems, right? And then this YouTube stuff doesn't really work out. It's not really like people stop paying him money for weird shit like this. Like the only way he's going to be able to make money at that point is to get in the ring with a boxer again, which he's vowed to never do again. But like, let's hypothetically say he's running out of money and equity and everything, right? And he can't do all this circus shit no more to make up for it. What is he going to do? Get in there with a prime boxer at the age of 45, 46, 47? That could be very dangerous for Floyd. Okay. I don't know if you know, if he's broke or not. Like, there's no way for me to know, but nothing I've seen screams like, okay, this guy has his shit together. He's made great investments. Other than him saying he's made great investments, right? I haven't really seen anything that shows me he's made great investments. And I believe he comes back to get a check so he could kind of fill his bank account again. Personally, this guy spends a lot, okay, and he brags about it as part of his persona. I get it, okay, but at some point, man, like, he shows off a billionaire's lifestyle on Instagram and all that when he's not a billionaire, okay, and that money could run out. So the only reason that matters to us is, will that lead to him getting back in the ring with a legitimate boxer when he really shouldn't anymore at a later age?
Yeah.
You think he's just addicted to the fame though? Like, yeah. I understand what you're saying with the money, but you think he's just addicted to the camera on me?
Yeah, but if that was the case, he could just fight for charity and have the camera on him, right? So
yeah, very true. Very true.
Well, here's the thing. D-Style mentioned this was a phenomenal point. Julio Cesar Chavez said, why don't we fight, do an exhibition for charity?
I thought that was going to happen too.
And you know what Floyd said? Well, I don't want to tarnish our legacy. So why would that be tarnishing your legacy? But this isn't tarnishing your legacy. So the only reason why we're talking about it is because Floyd is talking about it, like D-Style said. You know, I mean, if you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to put out a false perception of yourself, then people have the right to question you. If things don't add up, if I sit there and tell you, hey man, I'm an awesome basketball player, man. I could go down to the Washington Square Park, man. Every time I go down there, I wax dudes, man. And then you see me play and I'm getting blown out. You're going to question, well, why is this dude saying he's so good at basketball? Is every time I see him play basketball, he's getting blown out. So if you're gonna sit there and brag about yourself, right, and try to convince people of something, go so hard on that, right? If your persona is so wrapped up in the amount of money that you make, right? You don't hear other people acting like this in their mid 40s to late 50s. You just don't hear it. You don't see Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. You don't see people who have money don't really like to talk about the fact that they have money. They don't have to talk about the fact.
Very true.
Like when you first get money and you're young and you're rich and stuff like that, yeah, you start flossing and you talk about it. But when you get to a certain age, it's like you've been wealthy for a long time. Like, doesn't the novelty of it wear off at some point? So
Floyd's not above it either, right? Because what was Floyd saying? Remember when he was saying like, "Oh, I don't need to fight. I got money." Manny Pacquiao. Oh, it's sad that he still needs to fight boxers and like he pocket watches more than anybody.
Yeah,
So,
like
I think Floyd has a lot of insecurities about him that just dribble out through his talking, the way he is. Like, I think it's a lot of stuff. Like the dude kind of got the Michael Jackson effect, like never being a kid and always
Arrested
like, you feel what I'm
Development.
saying?
Arrested Development.
Yeah, it's like he's just
100%.
it's like you kind of like that's also he's not really a mature he's not really a mature guy. Like he's like it's just Floyd. Like I don't really it don't bug me out because I know that's Floyd. Like that's just who he is. Like you feel what I'm saying? It's just like that's just who he is. It doesn't shock me.
Yeah. Nancy, I know you guys talked about this already, but anything that I'm saying, am I off base here with anything?
No. I'll touch on three things: the money, the leadership, and the legacy. Okay, from a money perspective, the rate environment that we've been in, like the past 2 years, if this guy was planning on living it up off the interest, off of the investments, that was quickly cut because financial institutions aren't getting paid for the money they're holding and therefore aren't paying others for the money that they're keeping there. So we understand that, yes, definitely his pocketbook's been affected. The more money you have, the bigger the impact, right? So that's number one. He already has a history of mismanagement. We remember years back, vehicle repossessions, already some tax issues. We already know there's mismanagement there. So could it be that there's financial issues? Yeah, absolutely. I think that it could be. I think that if we start to see the Shaq effect, right, where suddenly he's in a commercial for the General and suddenly he's in a commercial for Popeyes, he's in a commercial for this, I think that would be more telling, right, that there's an issue. So that's
have you seen his commercials?
Did you see the commercial?
I haven't seen Mayweather.
He's doing a commercial.
Oh.
He's doing a commercial for a gel gun. And
I was about to say he's doing some weird commercials
for a window company.
Then boom, there's an issue.
Yeah. There's some sketchy.
Y'all
shit
need to send those to me then, because I
he's doing like not high quality commercials. It's like student film commercials.
And here's the thing too, Nancy. He once said when he was asked about it, why doesn't he have endorsements? Oh, I don't want to make another company rich. I got my own brand. I don't want to. Why do I want to make another brand popular? No, the fact is, Nike won't touch you with a 10-foot pole because of your history.
Exactly. So then he's going to end up like Master P with his own brand of instant mac and cheese at the 7-Eleven, right? Yeah. So that's the money issue. From a leadership standpoint, I think it's extremely disappointing that he has, people around him that are looking to him to provide them guidance, to, promote, etc. And he's just making it all about him. Why would I want to be represented by some dude that want to go fight some kid on a helipad in Dubai? And then whoever brought up the point earlier, when, you have your guy right there and that's your moment to have the spotlight on your guy and let him shine, you make it about yourself. That's a lack of leadership. I certainly wouldn't want to be represented by someone like that, no matter how much money, And then finally, the legacy, right? He's already impacted that tremendously. And what really upsets me, I go back because I've said this before, I'm not taking away from him being a skilled fighter and being a good fighter. What upsets me is that he's in a position that he could really make an impact in this sport. Like a lot of the shit that we've been seeing, a lot of the things that us as fans have been complaining about, he actually could impact that in a positive way. And he refuses to do that. And that's what really pisses me off. He has the platform, he has the money, and he's not giving back to the sport that gave him so much.
Yeah. Maestro, I know we talked about this. Let me just grab this super chat real quick before I let you in. Floyd coming back to fight shows even more how disappointing those Gervonta Davis pay-per-view numbers really are. Jake Paul had better opponents than Floyd. So Maestro, like I said, we talked about this before. This just is bizarre. It's peculiar to me that he would be fighting this guy in Dubai on a helipad. It's kind of just like a freak circus show. What are your thoughts on this event, man?
I mean, there's really not much to say about it. Floyd is beyond past it, He's a middle-aged dude trying to live out his younger years, talking a game that is not really consistent with probably what's going on in his life. Sounds pretty familiar, actually. But look, I'm not really that interested in seeing Floyd fight. I don't think anybody else here is either. The main issue for me is the fact that he claims he's a promoter and he's got guys on his promotional stable that he actually should be taking care of. Tank Davis, Badu Jack, and probably others, because we don't really hear too much about them. And that should really be his focus, not fighting these fights, unless it's what you're alluding to, Joe, which is that he doesn't have much money right now, which could be the case, but we'll never really know, you know. But who knows? I hope he's doing okay financially. I don't wish bad on anybody, you know. It would be great if a guy who's fought as much as he did and made as much money in the ring as he did, much like Tyson, much like Holyfield, didn't have to do things after their careers that really should be anything other than relaxing with their children and living out their lives, right? But he's doing this. I don't know why, but the fact is the real victims of it are people who are signed to his promotional company.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question though. What do you think Al Heyman, though, since him and Al Heyman are real close like that, do you think that Al Heyman wouldn't, like, you know what I'm trying to say, have a safety net for this guy? Like, he kind of knows him. Like, he would say, you know what? Let me put a safety net for this guy because this guy might blow all the damn money. That's the only, like, thing I think that's why I don't think he's broke. I think that a lot of it is just an attention. But I do think his bills are high as hell. I do agree to that part. His bills are really high.
Just think of maintaining that lifestyle that he's created.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. I agree.
When I say he's having money issues, I'm talking about liquidity. If all your money is tied up in assets and all your expenses are to maintain those assets and you don't have liquidity, then you have to keep doing things that will bring you liquidity. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. If that liquidity is still paying down tax debt, if it's paying off the insurance for your cars, if it's paying off the maintenance of your properties, then that money goes quick. You know what I mean? So he's not the only boxer to have these issues. And it's tough when it comes to the taxes, right? Because when you have an accountant dealing with your finances for you, right? A lot of times these accountants and these tax people, they're looking to give you breaks and stuff like that, but they're not telling you the whole picture sometimes, you know, because you could be saving money now, but having to pay later. So they're sitting there telling you, yeah. You know, you owe this, but you don't have to pay this right away. You could do this, break this down in installments, right? But these installments, how long are these installments going to last? Because when they were talking about that tax debt in 2017, when he fought McGregor, that whole purse was taken to pay his tax debt, right? But they also mentioned that he was paying off the installment debt from 2010. So that's the thing. So you could just be going through a vicious cycle here, you know.
I think we won't know until the book come out.
And if you notice, it's I read the book The Lady and the Champ, and
I know which one you're talking about. I heard about that book, but I was talking about later on in life.
Like, but his personal assistant, the woman that was his personal assistant, she said that she said that he did, you know, had some issues with money.
He even had the money bag in the passenger seat when he drove. Like, I thought that was really weird. But like I said, I think when they get in their 60s and older, and that one book comes out, that official one, I think we'll really know what really went down.
You know when you really know? When he's about 55-ish, and he can't do these exhibitions anymore, then you'll see what happens.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? So that brings us to the last topic. Ryan Garcia, again, you know, he's talked about fighting Isaac Cruz. I don't know. I don't know why he's so hell-bent on that, but he was also talking about the lightweights, the other top lightweights in the division, and he was saying that, you know, we should all just do a round robin. But does he really mean that? Because, you know, he's been calling out guys forever, and these fights just never happen. Is Ryan Garcia finally going to, you know, try to make some noise in 2022, get a couple big name lightweight fights, or is he just selling wolf tickets? Maestro, let's start with you, man. What do you think of Ryan Garcia? Do you think this is the year that he's finally going to do what he says, or is he just going to be stringing us along like he's been doing all along?
I mean, I think Ryan Garcia is top 5 in the lightweight division, off record, and probably top 3 if you look at it off talent. Unfortunately, we don't really get to see his talent in the ring because he's been very inconsistent. And we thought that he was going to follow up the biggest win of his career, which was against obviously Luke Campbell, with a follow-up not necessarily win, but at least fight against someone, whether it was Tank Davis or at least maybe a Jojo Diaz, and that never happened. So, if he gets Cruz in the ring, that would be okay, but I still see it as a backward step. I mean, he hasn't fought since last year, January. It's been a full year. Don't forget he fought in the new year of 2021, and he hasn't fought since. And anything that he's going to do now is going to be a backward step to that, because Isaac Cruz is a step down from where Luke Campbell was last year. So, I don't think we'll see him in the ring more than twice this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You think another thing too with him, man? He backs out of fights all the time. It's he's a very inconsistent fighter, man. It's just like he's very, even if you was a fan of his and he's like, okay, he's gonna fight Isaac Cruz, there's gonna be a dope fight. Do we really know he's gonna make it to the ring? Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's always gonna be something with this guy, man. He's a talker, man. He just likes to talk, and shows nothing, like absolutely nothing, man. I really believe Ryan Garcia, which is probably facts, is like a high-level YouTube fighter that can box. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I put him in that category and stuff. Like, I put him in the Jake Paul categories and all that, but he can actually box. It's like, to me, you feel what I'm saying? Like, to me, it is, man. He's like a guy who can actually box, who's transferred over, and this is what he's doing. But I don't have no faith in Ryan Garcia, man. I don't think he's going to fight Isaac Cruz. I don't think so, man. I'll be shocked if he does.
D, are we being sold wolf tickets again, or what do you think here?
About 2 years ago, I coined the nickname Lion Ryan. Okay? Ryan Garcia cannot be trusted. And it's going to sound very, very harsh. I didn't believe him that he had a mental illness. Okay? I think he just took whatever he had going on, I don't think it was mental illness. I think he took advantage of a culture that is more open-minded to mental illness, which I do believe is a real thing. Like, I believe that gymnast had it, and I think she had the twisties and stuff. I think, just people I could believe, but something about Ryan, I just never believed, and right now, I don't even believe him that he's trying to do the Isaac Cruz fight. I just don't. I just think it's all cap, like the cool kids say nowadays, you know what I mean?
The Generation Z.
Ryan may never, like, I don't know, like, what he's going to do this year, okay? Because I'm looking at stories that supposedly he hurt his hand, he has a hand injury, and this, that, and the third. But I'll tell you what, right now, I'm interested to see how long he's going to last in that Canelo camp, because Canelo's already come out. He's already told him, "Yo, man, time to man up and just focus on boxing already." You know what I mean? Like, stay focused, and like this is a sport where you got to stay focused. You got to be dedicated. And Ryan kind of like publicly said, "Oh, I took the feedback, blah blah blah," but I don't know. He might have like some issues going on. I don't think it's mental illness, but I just think at his core, I just don't know if Ryan's made for this business, man. I don't think he's made for this. I think, to his credit, he's developed a big social media following, and he's probably seen that he can make money in other ways that don't involve him getting hit in the face, right? Yeah. And once someone sees that early on, all right, then hey, you know what I mean? So I think that's what it is.
Dave, what are your thoughts? I know you've had your opinion over the years of Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia, what he did to Javier Fortuna last year in 2021. I mean, I've advocated for this on my own podcast, that if you're going to go into business with him and engage in a contract with him, you should demand some type of clause where you're going to get 50% to 100%. I know Isaac Cruz was asking for 100% of his fee if Ryan Garcia pulled out, and I thought that was great. I mean, it just goes to show, okay, all right, well, if you want to fight Isaac Cruz, he's got something for you too. He's demanding to be paid in full. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Quite honestly, I think that Golden Boy's got a future star at lightweight that most people aren't paying attention to, and that's William Zepeda, who had a very impressive 2021. And I think even William Zepeda would possibly knock out Ryan Garcia. Of course, he doesn't carry the matinee actor's good looks, that Ryan Garcia has, and that's commanded him this huge social media following. And like D Styles just pointed out, he's got revenue streams coming from all angles, from sponsorships to this to revenue from YouTube. He doesn't have to fight. Does he want to fight? Also, I even think Raya Valenzuela at PBC, I think that's a kid we should be talking about in 2022. If we're going to be talking about future Mexican-American stars, Ryan Valenzuela, William Zepeda, those are guys I'm going to be keeping my eye out at the lightweight division in 2022.
Yeah, gotcha. Nancy.
Yeah,
we're back to Ryan again.
I know, back to Ryan. So in one of the last shows we had, we talked about would this fight happen, and I was of the opinion that if a fight's going to happen, or they would try to make a fight, it would be this one, because I think it's pretty much like the fair fight to have, given that Ryan's been out of the ring, right, and everything else that's kind of transpired in the weight class. And so here we have it. Yeah, apparently a contract, was put out there, and a offer was proposed, and it was declined. You have Oscar and Ryan being very vocal and very public, sign the contract, and a contract was presented, right? Like they want the public to see, hey, we're offering it to him, right? But what did you offer, man? Because it's got to be fair for Isaac. I think that Isaac had, a really good showing. He took his 15 minutes and ran with it, and proved himself that, hey, I'm someone that's definitely belonging in this weight class. So I'd be interested in what was in detail in the contract. And you know what? Good for Cruz and his camp if they were just like, nah, man, like this isn't I can't think of the other word, but like fair, essentially, because they're probably wanting to do everything that will happen in Ryan's favor. And good for him if he declined it because of some of the silliness that's probably embedded in the contract, like it was said earlier. I think Dave, you're the one that said it. With in the event of him pulling out of the fight, then you get everything. You get 100%. Good for him.
Dave said
right?
that.
I mean, that's what happens when you're crying wolf and pulling what you're pulling, whether he was really ill or not. I know that's something that's like super sensitive. We hope for the most part that if he was, that of course that he's better. And if it's not, then that's something that he's gonna have to deal with. I think it's also a good point that he has uncovered that there's a revenue source that doesn't involve getting smacked in the face. So there you have it. I like Ryan. I've liked Ryan. I think here's a kid that really had it all and the potential to be that little mini Oscar, right? And I think Oscar saw that in him, to have a little Oscar Jr. Like I was like, hey, I'm okay with that. That's pretty cool. Like that's neat. And it's probably been a bit of a disappointment. Kudos for them sticking around, right? And just kind of staying with him, because let's remember, this is supposed to be their new cash cow after Canelo left. So they kind of put a lot of eggs in that basket in Ryan. So I know that they're going to be trying to really make something happen because they lost their other one.
Exactly. Well, I was listening to an interview with Paulie Malignaggi, and he was talking about Ryan Garcia. And he made a great point. He said, in that Luke Campbell fight, I was very impressed. He got knocked down, he got up, and he scored a spectacular knockout. And Paulie Malignaggi went on to say that he believed Luke Campbell was a tough opponent, top level lightweight in the world. He was very impressed with the victory and the level of opposition. But then he went and said, when he got knocked down and got up and he came back and won, I said, wow, this guy showed me something. But now I'm actually second guessing that. He said, did that knockdown make Ryan feel more vulnerable? Now does he
I
saying
think
to
so.
himself, maybe I can lose, maybe I can get hurt, maybe this is tougher than I thought it would be or anticipated, right? So I'm sure all of us as humans, and I'm sure fighters are no different. We all doubt ourselves at some point, but we have to battle that. That's something that we have to deal with internally. And I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, how can you not respect the fact that he has mental health?" And a lot of people are bringing up their own mental health issues. And again, when you have a mental health issue, it's serious, but it's your responsibility to deal with that. The world will not stop for you, right? You can't expect if you had a job and you're going through mental health and you have to take some time off, whatever, that's fine. But it's only so long that your job can hold your position for you. If you don't come back and you're out for 3 years, you're going to lose your job. There's a level of understanding that you will be allotted, and there's a level of help you'll get. And at some point, you're the one that has to want to get better. You're the one that has to continue on living your life, right? When my mother passed away, I went into a deep depression, horrible. I couldn't eat. It was bad, but I had to fight my way out of it. The world was not going to stop for me. I had to go to work every day or I wouldn't have my job. And being a boxer is your job. And if you sign a contract, you're signing an agreement with somebody else. So it's not just you and your financial situation that's being affected. It's the financial situation of your opponent, his team, and promoters and managers and all that.
The vendors, the everything,
everything.
all the employees, it has such. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No, that's
you, but
fine.
it's just,
Go right
like
in.
you're making a good point. Like that's what people need to realize. So that's why if Cruz said no, because he's saying if he decides to make up some other reason to get out of the fight, it's only fair that he pays and that Golden Boy pays.
I agree.
You think about what goes into an event. It's more, y'all, than just paying the fighter. Like there's so much more. There's so much more.
Sure.
So people need to be thoughtful about that.
Exactly.
Another thing too with his mental health thing, is that he talks a lot of shit too after that. Like he doesn't have like compassion for other people with certain, like for instance, the Devin Haney situation. Like he just went off on Devin Haney. It's like, bro, didn't you say you had a mental health issue the other day? Like you would think he would calm down from stuff like that, but he just keeps going. That's why I think a lot of it is a front with him. And I definitely think with what you said, I think that Luke Campbell fight did something. I think that definitely did something.
I guess to sum this all up, because I know I can be long-winded sometimes, to sum this all up, because you have a problem, that does not give you the right to make your problem other people's
exactly.
problems. Other
That's what I'm
people's
talking about.
problems.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
And that's what it is at the end of the day. Once your problem starts becoming other people's problems, and they have to burden the weight of your problem because you can't fix it, and you have and you're not really willing to fix it, then that's it. All right. Let me get to this super chat real quick. The Lion Ryan gimmick is cute, but who had the better 220? The better 2021? Jamel Charlo, Andy Ruiz, or Ryan Garcia?
Ryan.
I don't know. I would have to really think hard about that one. I think I would go with Ryan Garcia. He had the better win than both those guys. That's a good point. That's a fair point. We have to concede that. All right, guys.
So we were trying to I'm sorry. So we were trying to remember on the show earlier in the week. Like we were trying to remember, like, when did Ryan fight? Was that last year? Like it's getting to that.
What was it? January, Nancy?
January, it was like
January
February
2021.
Oh, it was January. You see, I thought it was February.
It was the first big fight.
There you go. So I just remember it was sometime in the first quarter, but it's getting to that. And so he's got to be careful. Like when you start to get to the point where people are like, wait, was that this last year? Was it the year? You better hurry up and get back in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just give kudos to Jojo Diaz because all those missed opportunities that Ryan Garcia passed on or
That's right,
reneged,
Dave.
You know
he
what?
reneged on the contract. He jumps up to
Yes.
fight Javier Fortuna. He jumps up and wait, and actually Jojo Diaz was very vocal about personal issues he was going through with his own promoter and manager, and mental health issues, and has a baby, and he steps up, has a remarkable win over Javier Fortuna, and catapults himself into a title shot against Devin Haney. That could have all been Ryan Garcia in 2021.
Yeah. And that was a good performance too against Devin Haney. I
I'm
thought it
so
was
glad
a
you
solid
brought that up.
performance. Yeah, that was a great point, Dave.
That's it. That, you know what? Yes, there you go. There's an example of getting it done and what you need to do, to get it done. This kid, he needs to jump back in, man, and you end up getting to the point where, the term beggars can't be choosers, right? He's thinking that everybody still owes him the elite fighter, the top fight, that he's that. No, that's going to start to wear off. So, he really needs to get back in there as soon as possible. At this point, it's a sense of urgency,
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone in the chat, everyone listening in. This was a great show. I really enjoyed it. Great topics tonight. Great input from everybody. Just going to pass it around. Everyone, shout out your social media. Tell everyone where they can find you. Excuse me. Dave, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'll be back on with my boy Philly Irish Drew Evil on Monday nights, part of HCP, late about 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I just want to remind everybody, it's the start of 2022. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in our country. People are getting sick. I'm just getting over that thing everybody got. I know D-Styles has been going through it. So just take time to be kind to everybody. Boxing is our escape. A lot of people go to Vegas to get an escape. For me, it's boxing. So we can have all these heated debates, but at the end of the day, we don't come here for the drama. We come here to meet other like-minded people.
Excellent. Thank you, Dave. And we'll be checking you out on the Shoe Shine, man. Awesome. Thank you, brother. Sutter Kane, always a pleasure. Where can everyone find you? And thank you so much for stopping by, man.
Yo, much appreciated. Maestro, you a black man. I'm a black man. You my brother. Hands down. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one day we can sit down and talk some boxing on here and just chill out. Always watch the show. Always loved your show. So I love you, my brother. Peace be with you. We are, you know what I'm saying? Like straight up, man. And I know your debating skills, yo. I know it and stuff, yo, like for real. So that's really it, yo. And I appreciate you, Beeb. I appreciate you, D-Styles. I appreciate you, Nancy. And that's really it, yo. I wish everyone peace and good everything. And stuff. Let's make it rock, yo. All right. God bless. Peace.
All right. Thank you, man. Nancy, I know you're everywhere now. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Well, first of all, thanks for the invite. I just am so grateful that y'all have me on. I have so much fun. This is my therapy. This is like my happy place, to be talking about the sport that we all love. So I can be found Boxing Republic, everything except YouTube. I don't have a channel, but you can find me on Tuesdays with this guy. How do I point this way?
Oh, you got him. You got him. You got him.
Yeah. Tuesdays. Yep. Tuesdays. HCP. Catch us. That's 8 Central. And of course, with my queens on Wednesday. So shout out to Nika, to Esme, to Christine. We are on every Wednesday night with Women Crushing It Wednesday. And I'm just grateful for y'all. And this year, man, I hope it's just jam-packed with boxing like it was last year, Joe. I'm really excited for that. I think that this year we're going to get more of the fights that we've been wanting. At least that's what I'm crossing fingers on, man.
This is going to be a better year this year. I think we're going to get more.
I feel it in my bones.
All those fights we've been clamoring for. I think we're going to get a lot of them this year.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Thank you all. Peace.
All right, peace out, Maestro, my brother. I know where everyone can find you. But you let everyone know where they can find you, or where they can find us. Because
you can find me
working a lot
on the Roundtable every Thursday. Next week I'm hosting, so make sure you check that out. I want everybody here to support my brother Kenny T. Knocked Out by Kenny's his channel. He just started it. I want that shit to blow up in 2022. Catch me on my channel Mondays, Mano a Mano Live with Kenny T. And every now and again with these two dudes on top of me here, D-Style Boxing and Joe Habib.
Excellent, man. Thank you so much for stopping by, man. Always great input. D, what's going on, brother?
Well, I had to do it to you and Maestro with the Jake Paul thing. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? I had to do what I had to do. No, but in all seriousness, man, great discussion and spirited debate, right?
That's right.
But I do want to say this because I saw several people in chat, and it's like predictable. And it's usually Mayweather fans. Like, why are you talking about the other man's money? His nickname is money. He brags about it. It's like when people were like making fun of him because his $40 million watch was ugly. Like, well, because he posted and was bragging about it, like talking to us like we're a bunch of like nobodies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not Mayweather's subjects where we just have to take it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, look at my watch. Only I could afford this, bitches. Like it's how it feels sometimes, right? So people comment about it. Like, you know what I mean? People want to talk about it too bad. Like, there's one troll, right, where his purpose in life, right, it's like defending Mayweather in the PBC at all costs, right?
Yeah.
He always gets ignored. Nobody listens to him. He's screaming for attention. It's okay if people criticize Floyd, okay? If he's okay, then what's the big deal, right? Like, oh, he has a lot of investments, I hear. Okay, cool. Good for him, right? We're just asking the question because he's putting it out there, okay? That's why. Beep, if I come on here and I tell everybody that I got more money than anybody in the chat, I got more money than Beep, right? You know, you don't think people like, but then I come out with a crappy ass, you know, Pinto, like on Twitter or something. You don't think people are going to be like, oh man, you have a crappy ass car. You're bragging about how you make more than us. And
yeah, I mean, if people are if your cars are getting repossessed,
right,
and your gardener's saying you didn't pay him, and other people are saying you didn't pay him, and you're paying down a tax debt from 2010 in 2017, and in 2017 they're garnishing your.
Beep.
I mean, we're talking
this guy
about
tweeted out. He's tweeted out his checks from Golden Boy. By the way,
yeah.
he tweets them out and shows them to people.
I wouldn't be talking about it if he wasn't talking about it. And my question to you guys in the chat who are asking me, why am I hating on Floyd? Well, why are you hating on me? Why do you care what I say? Tyson Fury is my favorite fighter in the world. People make fun of Tyson Fury and talk shit about him all the time. It's not my job to defend Tyson Fury. I love the guy. You don't have to love him.
Absolutely. And I'll let you kind of close out there. But hey, D-Style Boxing. Okay, you guys can go ahead and follow me there. All right. Every Tuesday, ATP podcast, follow me there. And Monday on Calix Boxing, we do Power Punchers right after Mano a Mano. That's ATP prime time every Monday. All right. I'm out, man. So
that's right. So Jason Levine asks me, why do I care about Mayweather's finances? That's lame. You know what's even lamer? The fact that you care that I'm talking about Mayweather's finances. That's even lamer. Why do you care that I care? Or I don't, or if I even was to care. I'm talking about Mayweather's finances because Mayweather is talking about Mayweather's finances. If Mayweather never brought up his finances, then no one would be talking about his finances. That's the thing. If you put yourself out there in social media, then you're open to criticism. That's the way it is. That's the law. That's the rule. That's the unwritten law of social media. If you're going to sit there and talk about how rich you are, and then we're hearing stories about shit's getting repoed on you and you're not paying people and you're getting your check garnished, if your $30 million check taken and garnished away from you by the IRS, something's not adding up. We're going to call you out on the bullshit. Everyone that puts out false information or puts up a front or bullshits the public, they get found out. People call them out. That's the thing, bro. That's how it works. If you're gonna talk that talk, you got to walk that walk. That's the way it is. And if you're talking that talk and you ain't walking that walk, people are gonna call you out on it. So my question to all you guys is, why do you care? Why do you care that I talk about it? Why does it bother you? Why does it bother you that I talk about it? The definition of a hater on social media is basically when someone says something that you don't want to hear, that hurts your feelings, then that's the new definition of what a hater is here on social media. That's what it is. It hurts you that I'm saying these things about Mayweather because you don't want to believe them. And that's the thing. So it is what it is. Long live boxing. Thank you so much. It's a shout out to Joe Habib, D-Style, and Maestro. Another great show as always. Thank you for always speaking the truth. Love the boxing talk. HCP. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, so that's it, man. That's it. If I'm not telling the truth, then it is what it is. Why am I wasting my time on a non-subject? Again, he's not liquid. Do you want to read an article? I mean, do you not read? Do you not read? Floyd Mayweather. All you got to do is read. Floyd Mayweather pays tax debt with McGregor purse. This is from ESPN.com. And this was from 2017, July, right? The IRS says it's still waiting for its cut from Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s from his 9-figure payday against Manny Pacquiao. The undefeated boxer owes $29 million in taxes for 2015. The notice shows the balance of unpaid as of March 6th. The lien was filed with the county officials in Las Vegas in April, and the boxing champ last week filed for a temporary retrieve with the U.S. tax court. Okay? Still, the boxer who regularly flaunts his wealth defended himself on social media, saying his empire is rock solid and the IRS just wants to be part of the Money May show. Okay. So, and then there's also an article stating that he's still paying the installments on his taxes from 2010. He owns a lot of things, okay? But again, you're not missing you're not understanding the point, and you're missing the point. I don't think you're listening to what I'm telling you, what I'm talking about here. You can own a lot of assets but not be liquid. You don't have a lot of disposable income at your disposal. You don't have a lot of, if you don't have a lot of disposable income and you're not liquid, you have an issue. You're not diverse. You can't have all your money into cars and jewelry and real estate and not have any liquidity. Because what's going to happen when you have to do maintenance and you have to hire people to do repairs and stuff, and if you don't have liquidity, okay? So he's had issues. He's had issues. Okay, with liquidity for a long time now. That's it. You have to learn how to learn how to read. You have to learn how to read these things. Or if you're reading these things, right, and you're just having cognitive dissonance, then I don't know what to tell you. You want me to stop talking about it? Tell Floyd to stop talking about it. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's all I'm saying. Who's this now? Guy shouldn't be let back on live. He's what's wrong with America. Guns down. Okay, well, we're not going to get into that. All right, guys. Thank you so much, man. Talk to y'all soon. Feed is out. Make sure you check out the Ringside Reporter podcast every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time with my partner, Eric Lorda. We will be back. And thank you once again for joining me on the Roundtable. Peace out, everybody. Take care.